This is Scott Beck with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Again, call me at any time, 773, or text me, 773-766-5322. And happy to take on topics or ideas for the podcast. Again, the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you. So 78 stories that we're following today, and here we go. First, I'll do a quick prescript. Apple, which has been suffering from bad news, we'll talk about this in a second, their stock's down about 5% year to date, did surpass Samsung as the world's largest seller of phones, mobile phones, just this past quarter after Samsung had been the lead for 12 years in a row. Apple's got a total of, I think, 20% worldwide of phone sales. It seems like in places in the States that's much higher than that, but overall internationally it's about 20% internationally, and they're now number one in front of Samsung, which is good news for them as they've fallen to number two in market cap after Microsoft. So that's our prescript for the day. Second, the markets point down today. We'll see if that holds. Basically, the concept is people are getting more tentative in how quickly rate cuts will come from the Fed and so forth. Second, the markets fell again yesterday. Third, Morgan Stanley dropped 4% yesterday after reporting a 32% decline in fourth quarter profits. The biggest concern might be just that the softness in the profitability in wealth management as percentages being paid by customers are going down some. Fourth, cannabis stocks, and this is the first time we said this in a few years, have started the year really well. We joke that they're on fire, which is a reference to people smoking cannabis, but they're up 16% year to date. Fifth, Kelly Blair was named the Chief Executive Officer of Nimble Solutions. Nader Sami was the CEO. He's been the CEO for 15 years almost. He'll step into the executive chairman role, a wonderful leader. Lisa Rock, president and founder of National Medical, now Nimble Solutions, stays on as the wonderful president of Nimble Solutions. Kudos to Kelly, as well as to Nader and Lisa. What a wonderful job they've done in building that company, and Kelly now leading the company. Sixth, thrilled yesterday to visit with Annette Walker, the president of Orange County City of Hope. City of Hope is one of the great oncology organizations in the country. She was on the Becker's Healthcare podcast with us yesterday. Seventh, speaking of cancer, a fascinating story and a scary story on how cancer diagnoses are rising in the country. Deaths are falling, but diagnoses are rising, particularly for people under 50, 55. Eighth, Spirit Airlines fell precipitously, drops 47%, as the judge orders that its merger with JetBlue can't be completed. Ninth, the growth of the Chinese economy has slowed to its slowest pace in 30 years, taking out a couple of the COVID years, but literally that's how poorly things are going there in terms of growth of their economy. 10th, Apple dropped again yesterday. It's down about 5% to start the year. Its market cap is down to $2.84 trillion. It's fallen behind Microsoft in that war. 11th, chip maker Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, up almost 9% yesterday. 12th, hopefully I'm in the right numbering here. Great yesterday to have Holly Buckley, chair of the McGuire's Healthcare Department, and Tim Fry on the Becker's Healthcare and Becker Private Equity podcast, talking about OIG compliance guidance. 13th, the markets are likely to stay soft until there's more clarity about the direction of the Fed. 14th, thrilled to see the Becker Private Equity podcast. Thanks to Chanel Bungard, Jeremy Corr, Kate Cruz, Grace Keller, ranked in the top 8 today on the Apple Business News podcast. That's of all podcasts, are just fantastic. 15th, and I know we're getting a little bit long in the tooth here today, excited to be working on the second edition of Blocking and Tackling 60 Keys to Building a Business and Managing Your Money. The book's available on Amazon, should be available on iTunes soon, working on the next edition. 16th, the rare chance to talk about Michael Sachs, the great leader of SG2 and the Sachs Group, who passed away a couple of years ago unexpectedly while trying to repair a heart issue. Just a sad loss, but a great mentor, great person. A chance to talk about him in depth with Mark Chudikoff. Always fascinating. And finally, 17th, excited to have President Bush, Bill Belichick, Martha Stewart, Michael Strahan, all speaking at the Becker's Healthcare 14th annual meeting, April 8th to 11th. Again, thank you so much for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business podcast today. We'll be back with you with a couple more issues, topics, and episodes later today. But thank you for listening.